Hi, class, and good afternoon. I am on my way to Waukee for a girls basketball tournament game. So what I need you to do is open up your Chromebook, log in, turn in your workbook, page 146, problems 1 through 10 to the basket. And notice not a lot of you did much on Dreambox yesterday, so please get going on Dreambox next. You'll have 13 minutes to work on the Dreambox lessons. Reminder, 7 lessons equals 5 extra credit points. We will then be completing lesson 7-1, and then you will have time to work on your homework. So please pause the video for about 13 minutes to allow students to turn in their workbook and to get going on Dreambox on the Chromebooks. Thanks. Hopefully you were able to get a couple, 2 or 3 lessons done on Dreambox. Yesterday we started with our essential question of how can you find the dimensions of a square or a circle when you are given its area? Basically, we were talking about finding square roots. Square roots are a number multiplied by itself that will give us that answer. These problems are a review from yesterday, and we know that the area of a square is length times width, or base times height. S times S is S squared. So S squared has to equal 81. So we take the square root of S squared. S times S is S squared. So S equals 9 times 9. Each side is 9. We're going to skip down to number 4, and we have to know what a perfect square is. For example, in example number 4, we must understand what perfect squares are. Perfect squares are 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 9 is a perfect square because it is 3 times 3, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, and you could continue going. A perfect square is a number multiplied by itself to give us that. In this problem, we need a side multiplied by itself that will equal 2.25. Because I know that 15 times 15 is 225, I can then figure out that 1.5 times 1.5 is giving me 2.25. Therefore, each side is 1 5/10. In our second example, we know that area equals pi r squared. Our area of this problem is 169 pi, so that equals pi r squared. In order to get the r squared by itself, I need to divide both sides by pi. That will leave me with r squared equals 169. Because I have that, I also know that r times r equals 169. 13 times 13 equals 169, so our answer is 169 is 13. In this one, I get the same thing. Pi equals pi r squared. Divide both sides by pi, and I get pi divided by pi is 1. So 1 equals r squared. R is 1. The next thing that we are going to cover is how to find 2 square roots of 49. Most of the people in the room will be able to figure out that we have 1 square root of positive 7. 7 times 7 is 49, but also negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. And therefore, the answer is 7 and negative 7. Please try to find out the answer to A. Hopefully you were able to figure out that that is positive and minus square root of 5. It could be both of those. In this second one, I know that the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 16 is 4, so therefore I can get that answer of negative 3/4. If these are perfect squares, we can use it as the square root of 9, which is 3, the square root of 16, which is 4. There is a negative out in front, so we have the negative number. In this last one, we've already done, so the answer is 1.5 and negative 1.5. Please find the two square roots of each number. Pause the video for 1 minute while students are able to do that and restart it after the 1 minute. Hopefully for number 1, you were able to get plus and minus 6. For number 2, you were able to get plus and minus 10. And for number 3, you were able to get plus and minus 11. Now see if you can come up with the square root or roots for number 4, 5, and 6. Please pause the video while students spend a minute trying to get number 4, 5, and 6. In number 4, we have the square root of 1, which is 1, and it is the opposite of 1, so we will have negative 1. In number 5, I know that the square root of 4 is 2. I know that the square root of 5 is 5. The square root of 25 is 5. So I have 2/5, and we will have both positive and negative 2/5. In this one, I know that the square root of 9 is 3. I know that the square root of 16 is 4. So my 12 and 25 hundredths is between 9 and 16. So I would try 3.5. 3.5 times 3.5 does give you the answer of 12 and 25 hundredths. So the square root of 12 and 25 hundredths is 3 5/10. In our next example, we are to evaluate each expression. Evaluate means solve. In the first problem, 5 times the square root of 36 plus 7. This means 5 times the square root of 36. We know that the square root of 36 is 6. We multiply it by 5, which is 30, add 7, so we will get our answer of 37. In this second one, we talked earlier that we may know the square root of 18, we may know the square root of 2. In this case, I don't know the square root of 18. I also do not know the square root of 2. But I do know that 18 divided by 2 is the square root of 9. The square root of 9 is 3. I add 3 plus 1/4. I get 3 1/4. In our third example, the square root of 81 is 9. 9 squared is 81. 81 minus 5 is 76. If I take the square root and square it, it basically cancels each other out, and we get our answer of 81 minus 5 is 76. Please try these 3 problems evaluating each expression to get an answer. Please pause the video for a minute or 2 while the students work on these 3 problems. When they are finished, restart the video and I will have answers. In problem number 7, 3 times the square root of 25, that is 3 times 5 is 15. So 12 minus 15 is negative 3. In this one, I do not know the square root of 28 or the square root of 7, but I do know that 28 divided by 7 is 4. So I take the square root of 4 plus 2.4. So I get 2 plus 2.4, and I get 4.4. In number 9, the square root of 4 squared is 4, so I got 15 minus 4 is 11. There's our answers for those first 3. We don't need to worry about problem number 10 today. At this time, you will have the rest of class period to work on textbook page 292, problems 4 through 28 even. Please make sure you are working on this. This will be turned in tomorrow. I will also be putting the book up, at least part of it, very shortly. So please pause the video while students get to work on that assignment. Here are problems 4 through 18. You can pause the video until most people get done with that, or you can use your textbook to be able to solve that right now. Here are the rest of the problems, 20 through 28. Please finish this assignment. If you finish early, you may turn that in and then find something quiet to do in your seats. Thanks and have a great day.